Reevesy, how did you find the tour as a whole?
Yeah, it was good. It was very hot, tough, hard work. Thought the game went really well. Certain things we've been trying to work on during the week came out, which is a good positive considering it was only the first game. Obviously a lot of new lads to gel. And we spent loads of good time together, so it was good.
Yeah. Do you feel like you settled in quickly, like you've almost never been away?
Yeah, it kind of does feel like I've never been away. It's quite an easy group to integrate into as well, so the boys have been good.
It's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but you wore the captain's armband against Reading. Did that sort of mean a lot to you?
It's difficult with pre-season, obviously. Woody's captain, and obviously Woody weren't playing, so it was nice that Gaffer felt like I would be the more senior, experienced player to wear the armband for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sort of feel like there was a particular leadership figure that you've worked with in the past that inspired you to take on that sort of senior role? Obviously, you do in terms of age as you get older in your career, but in terms of your personality and how you set an example to others.
Yeah, I think I've been quite lucky. I've had quite a few. Obviously, when I was last year, Bully was in his. I think he was actually midway in his 30s. I think when I played with him. Obviously, he's a bit of a jovial, laughy kind of character, but also in the same vein to still play at his age is obviously, something to look to and aspire to. Then obviously I had Romain Vince a lot, Matthew Kilgallen at Bradford, unbelievable pros, on and off the pitch, how they were as men, set everyone around the ground. So I've been quite lucky to have a couple.
Yeah, it's clear to me that you take great pride in maintaining standards, cleaning up the dressing room, making sure equipment gets collected by the younger lads. How's that sort of been instilled into you over time? Where does that come from? Does it come from your family, or does it come from your teammates in the past?
I think it comes from a bit of both. It's one of those things. It's if we can all help each other out, players, staff, kitmen, cleaners, if we can all make each other's jobs a lot easier, then the whole club will run a lot easier. So just because you're a player doesn't mean that you leave your bottle on the floor. You pick it up, you put it in the bin. It's not hard. You wouldn't leave it at home, so why would you leave it in the changing room? So
yeah,
it's not a hard thing to tell someone to pick something up.
And was it nice to be reunited with the fans out in Spain?
Yeah, it was good. I still recognise many faces.
Really?
Yeah. Well, obviously the old ground, you was always surrounded by all the fans all the time, and obviously everyone sat in the same places all the time, so you always recognise certain people. So there was a couple out there that I had a good chat with, and yeah, definitely recognised.
As we've already touched on, there's obviously a lot of younger lads in the squad. Have you sort of given any advice to them, had any specific advice that you pass on to them?
I think it's more just little bits from training, once say like doing a keep ball or something like that, or a passing drill or anything like that, and then that particular part of the session stops and you go and have a drink and you feel like you can give someone a little bit of information, then that's the time to do it really. You don't need to be pulling people for long chats and stuff. I think it's more the little times where something's just happened, it's still fresh in their mind, so you give them a little bit, and I think that works quite well.
Is it just a case of them getting the basics right? Do you feel like they can sometimes get ahead of themselves?
Basics are massively important in football, and in winning teams the basics need to be right. If you haven't got the basics, then you can't build a foundation. So to make sure you've got those little bits of basics, or everything, as boring as they might sound for other players, they might want to do something else and do the spectacular, but the basics are what's going to make a team work and function.
Yeah, would you say that was the key to success at Stevenage?
It's certainly, yes. Especially for Stevenage, the way that our brand of football, the basics were massively important. If you didn't have them, then the rest of it, the cog didn't work. So for us, it was huge. Yeah.
What do you like about the makeup of the squad that we've put together? Obviously, a lot of lads have come in as well as yourself.
Yeah, I think we've got. It was obviously quite young anyway before that we came in, and obviously now we've added a bit of experience with certain players that we brought in. I think the Gaffer's recruited quite well, personally, and it seems like we've got the right type of people to come to this club for how we want to play. So yeah, at the minute I think we're quietly confident.
Yeah, and then just finally, obviously you said it feels like you've never been away. What feels like it's changed? Do you feel like there's a new optimism like heading into this season for the club?
Yeah, obviously I weren't here last year, so I don't know how certain things felt and whatnot, but particularly for me, just excited. Season's only around the corner now. I know we've got a lot of games playing pre-season, but we are very, very close now. I'm just excited to get going. Yeah,
does that excitement ever diminish or anything like that as you go further and further going through seasons?
No, I don't think so. I think what happens more, you get to the summer and you're ready for your break a little bit quicker. And then when the season comes back around, that same excitement just comes. You just want to get started again.
And how tough was that week of training in Spain for you?
Oh yeah, very tough. I mean, we've had some tough pre-seasons over the years, but I mean, we were doing double, triple on one day, quadruple sessions. Try and get the boys robust. And I was looking at my watch, clocking out at the end of the day, like 35k in a day, including all the walking around. And you're thinking, Jesus, I've got to get up tomorrow, and then you have to go again. So yeah, it was tough. It was good. So that's what makes the performance from all the lads on the game against Reading even more pleasing, because we know how much we put into training. So even the day before we're doing doubles. So to be able to come out and get a win and build on something, then that was really, really important.
Jake, thanks for your time, mate.
Nice one.